Hey guys, what's up? So, we are out here again today with this little project we got here, right? The BreekArms upper receiver and the Cyelee T10 optic. Let's get into this part 2 and see if we can break this thing a little bit more, all right? Okay, so if you remember from last time, basically we threw this guy up against a bunch of rocks, smashed it up, put it underwater a little bit. We didn't technically it was submerged underwater, but we just trashed it up a little bit, mainly smashing it around on a bunch of big old boulder rocks back up in here. And as you can hopefully see, we put a beating on this thing. The handguard did come loose, right? It kind of tilted a little bit, right? That would be one thing about this handguard that I wish it did have, was some kind of stop detents, right? Up here, that, you know, that kind of little fingers, whatever, that stick out and keep the handguard from rotating left and right. Some handguards have that, some of them don't. This one doesn't, and it came loose a little bit, right? Now, it wasn't loose like shimmy shaking. It was still tight. I couldn't just grab it and twist it back on, or twist it back centered. I had to loosen it up, align it, tighten everything back up to get it back on straight. So it wasn't just like it was loosey-goosey and everything. And as you could see from the accuracy that we got, even though the optic, kind of taking a side show here, even though the optic did do the same thing, basically, it came loose, it rocked back and forth, right? Yeah, I was still able to shoot a fist-size, large man's fist-size group at our zero distance, 36 yards. So you can leave that up to whatever your mind tells you as far as, you know, well, did these things pass? Did they fail? Well, we scratched the living daylights out of them, right? We beat the living daylights out of them. And yes, we did make the handguard move. So if you had iron sights or a laser or some kind of aiming device on here, yeah, it needed to be re-zeroed. 100% for sure, it needed to be re-zeroed. For the beating that we put on him, you can see we really smashed this guy up. And then there is a spot right here on the handguard. Let's see if that'll even show up. So you see how that divots right there? It comes straight across and it divots. We really smacked that good right there. But it's still not touching the barrel. So it protected the barrel, right? And as far as I can tell, none of the actual working pieces of the gun that make it go boom, none of them have been affected, I don't think. I mean, even on this little blast shield, we chipped up some of the end here. But that's the blast shield, so it kind of protects the barrel in a way, right? It protects the crown of the barrel. I mean, you do have a muzzle device on there. I might sound like I'm giving excuses. I'm just trying to give you my thoughts and, like, what do I actually think happened, right? Or is it bad enough to say, you know, to call it quits? I don't think it was bad enough to call it quits. The gun functioned and cycled and put bullets where I wanted bullets to go after doing all that. So that being said, if something terrible happened, well, even if, let's say, you use this for whatever reason for hunting, right? You took a tumble off of a cliff and smashed down up against a bunch of rocks, you could still have picked this thing up and shot at whatever made you fall off the mountain. There you go, I can say that. And I can confidently say that, that's fine. So after the fact that you fell off the mountain and were able to shoot and stuff, hopefully you went back to camp and settled everything back the way that it was supposed to be, which is what we did, basically, right? We went back, we realigned the handguard, tightened it back up properly. We reattached the optic, I almost said suppressor, the optic, and basically, I mean, the screw did not come loose. It somehow just busted it loose in the Picatinny, right? So the screw itself did not come loose. So we just scooted it forward, tightened it back down. Everything seems to be good. So basically what we're going to do now is we're going to re-zero this thing, see, you know, after tightening everything down and everything, put it back on paper, 36 yards, and we're just going to do some more stuff to it. I don't know, there's no snow here anymore, it all kind of disappeared, so we're not going to do any of that. Some people mentioned throwing it out of the truck when we're moving. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll run it over. We could definitely run it over, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, and we'll see if we can just completely break it. That's kind of the idea. This is supposed to be a destructive testing. Enough talking, yibber yabbering. Let's put this on paper and then let's go see if we can break it. because I went to go pick up the gun, and the optic is right there, and the gun is right there. Not really good, not off to a great start. So, yeah. All right, folks, well, we did it. We finished it off. Starting off with the upper, with the BreekArms upper. The first drop, we got a nice slash right across here. Excuse me, I don't know exactly, you know, I mean, what that would do. Just scratched it up. I think it'd perfectly be fine. Second drop, I didn't notice anything different. Third drop, we busted it loose again, right? Can you see right here? See how that handguard is not lined up properly? Now, can we? No. It is still really. No, I'm gonna have to loosen it up. It's not just like loosey-goosey on there. It torqued it. It smashed it good. I mean, you can see on here, on this part, it really smashed it up good. And it busted it loose, so it loosened up. So again, if you had iron sights on here or any kind of laser aiming thing, any aiming device on the handguard, it would now need to be re-zeroed. So that's not really a great thing. I will say that. That's not really a great thing. The gun itself, I'm surprised that this pistol brace thing didn't completely destroy itself. That's kind of nice. The charging handle, of all things, like I'm dropping these as best as I can right on top. I'm releasing it like this. And so I'm expecting, you know, stuff on top and things to get smashed up. Charging handle, surprisingly, of all the things, it seems to still be perfectly functional and fine. It's barely even dented up and scratched up, which goes against my thought process, which would be that these look a little thin, okay? They stick out a little far, but the thing still works. I would have thought by now that these would have busted off, not only from just only doing 3 drops out of a vehicle, but all the smashing we did up on the rocks and whatnot. I would have thought these have got way more beat up, you know, but they didn't, and it still functions perfectly fine. So, kudos to the Warhammer charging handle. The handguard, I wish it had them little detents. That's about the only negative thing I can say about it. Other than that, I mean, it protected the barrel, did what it needed to do, but it did come loose. Now, the optic, the main thing, even though it doesn't sound like the main thing we're talking about, but the main thing we're talking about right now is this optic, right? And on the third drop, when I went to go pick it up again, I wasn't even paying attention. I had full faith and trust that it was perfectly fine. So I just went up, turned the camera off, and I looked down and I saw the optic laying there. So I turned the camera back on, and hopefully it came across right that way. But yeah, so, and it was sitting about 5 feet away from the gun that was sitting right next to it. Actually, the gun was sitting closer to the camera. But anyway, here's the little optic that we have now. And we successfully broke it. We didn't just knock it off. You can see the mount right here. The whatever the mounting screw screws into the poles, that pulls and creates tension, whatever, it's busted. You can see that, right? So it's chipped off. It's not going back on. I don't remember exactly what comes in the box. I think it comes with a more flush fit plate. If that is the case, then I might still try to try to get this guy on that other mount and see if it would work on that one, because if the optic itself is fine and the mount just busted, well, we can deal with that. I will say, however, we do have a chip in the glass now. Hopefully you can see that. We have a chip there, and I guess we did get a nice direct smack right on top of the noggin here. And I didn't notice this till I came and sat down here. This is dented in, right? This turret, the elevation turret, is smack dab. It's dented in. I haven't tried to open it up yet. I'm not sure if it's going to. Nope, and I'm going to slice my finger open if I try that. But no, it's smashed up in there. So, what I do wonder is if this guy, I don't have the other mount, or I would try it right now, and I should. So maybe there'll be part 3. But I wonder if this will be able to be zeroed. Or since the turret itself, I mean, if you look at it this way, or you look at it that way, look at it either way, you can see this guy is supposed to be sitting on top like this. He's canted off to the side. Really smashed up. But, I mean, if it's still able to be zeroed, you can still see the dot in there. I mean, the buttons still work. It still gets nice and bright, and it kind of does what it needs to do. And the brake is on the rear glass, not the front glass. So I would think, as long as as long as you can still move those turrets and it's not loose on the inside, then it would be fine. But we'll have to see. That'll be a part 3. But anyway, guys, that is that's a relatively quick. I'm trying to think of things to say, but that's a relatively quick part 2 to this thing. I really should have brought the other optic, not the other optic, the other mounting plate, and then we could have at least seen if it could be re-zeroed and held 0. Because it did. I did re-zero it. I'll throw a picture in here. I did re-zero it, and it clocked just fine. Did exactly what it needed to do. Wasn't throwing rounds all over the place, and I was able to get a decent 0 group with crap ammo and just shooting real quick. But anyway, that's the Cyelee T10. Cyelee, I think is how you say it. Cyelee T10. I'm gonna keep trying to use it with a different mount. This mount is definitely dead. So for all intents and purposes, this test is over. Overdone, whatever. The optic came off, can't be remounted. At least not with the hardware I have right now. Not without taking the optic apart, basically, and changing mounts. But there you go. That's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions about this stuff, please do let me know. Big huge thanks to Cyelee for sending this out. And they wanted me to break it, so I think I successfully did that. I think I will do a part 3 and see if I can actually zero this thing on something else. You know what? Now that I'm looking at it, I'm not sure if it's going to. If you really look at it, there appears to be a tube on the inside of the tube, basically, is what I'm saying. Imagine if on the inside of here, you had a toilet paper roll, right? And these elevation and windage knobs would move the toilet paper roll and kind of move the way that it was positioned in here, right? Instead of coming straight down the optic, you know, if the toilet paper roll could be moved a little bit, moved up a little bit, whatever. Imagine that. It looks like when this guy got smacked down, it really pushed that tube down, which makes me think that perhaps we're not going to be able to zero this thing, perhaps. So I don't know, maybe we're completely done. I'll probably post on Instagram or in another range report, whatever, if it's just completely done. Anyway, if you have any questions about this, do let me know. And also thank you to BreekArms for letting me destroy your upper. It was actually pretty fun. I think we found some points to work on as far as those little anti-rotational detents. I really think that would help. Kudos on that Warhammer charger candle though. Super mad kudos to that. That is cool. That is really, really cool. I'm very, very happy with that. Anyway, guys, y'all be good to be safe. I'm going to quit droning on and on. And that's it. All right. Y'all take care, and hopefully we'll catch you in the next video. Okay, so if you want to hear me continue to drone on about things, I'm going to tell you about Patreon, Teespring, all those different things, whatever. If you want to support what we do here, you know, help me buy gas for my truck, help me buy bullets for these things and accessories and stuff that breaks. Patreon's a good way to do that, right? There's a couple guys on there. Really do appreciate them. I feel like I say the same thing every time, but it's very true. I really like connecting with those guys on there, and I really help try to give them so either be early access or additional video kind of things, and just try to give them a little bit extra. But that's a direct way that you can really just support what we do as far as buying bullets and things and stuff and whatnot for the channel. That's a fantastic way to do that. And if you do, amazing. I appreciate it more than I can even say. And if you don't, then I don't blame you, because I don't blame you at all. I don't blame you. But if you want to get something more back for your money, I do have a Teespring account. So shirts and hats, and I think we got underwear and socks and stuff, things like that in there. And then we're over on Gunstreamer, we are on Rumble, we are on Instagram, stuff like that, whatever. Those links and all that kind of stuff will be down there below if you want to check that out. Follow me on those places if you want to. No harm, no foul if you don't, or if you want to go support me and throw me money so I can buy stuff. That's it. Y'all take care. Catch you later.